What's up, y'all? It's me, Nate Almighty, and I'm back with another power theory. We're going to base this off of OG Power, and we're going to talk about a very specific line that Ghost said very early on in episode 1 of OG Power. Y'all remember when Ghost was looking across the street at the Truth nightclub, what did he say? He said, "Dad, I did it. Dad, I finally did it." The topic of today's theory is why Ghost saying "Dad, I did it" in episode 1 of Power may prove he actually did kill his own father. I know there's been some debate on the internet in regards to whether Ghost killed his own father, whether it was Breeze that did it, whether it was Kanan that did it and blamed Breeze, whether it was Kanan and Breeze that did it. There's a lot of different theories in regards to that. But what I want to focus on is the fact of why Ghost saying "that I did it" may actually prove he killed his own father, as well as some evidence that I want to present to you guys to back that up. This video is going to be another banger. Go ahead, like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right now, y'all, let's break it down like this. Let's take it all the way back. Episode 1 of OG Power. Y'all remember that scene? It was very monumental. Even though, come to find out, like 10 years later, we still know pretty much the same amount of information about Ghost's dad as we did that very first episode. There's so much story to tell. But what we can surmise from that scene where we had Ghost staring at Truth nightclub on the opening day, he looked and he said, "Dad, I did it." Now, the first initial thought that someone would have would be Ghost's dad didn't make it to see him open the club. So he's saying, "Dad, I did it." But what I want to present to you guys is that proves that he killed his father. And I'm going to take it from a different angle, okay? I want to take y'all from that very first episode of OG Power to season 6 of OG Power, when Ghost went and met up with Uncle Gabe, and we have Uncle Gabe entering the story, right? What do we know from the conversation Ghost had with Uncle Gabe? First off, Uncle Gabe was expressing the fact that once Ghost's dad died, he pretty much never saw Ghost again, right? Personally, he never seen Ghost again. We know from background information that after Ghost's father died, Ghost pretty much left and went to stay with Tommy and Kate Egan, which is why Kate Egan in Power Book 2 Ghost told Tariq, "Listen, I raised your father." That's because at a very pivotal point in Ghost's life, Ghost went to go stay with his brother Tommy and Kate Egan. This is why they're so fond of each other, right? This is why he's really, in some ways, Kate Egan's favorite son. That's one thing that I want you guys to think about. The next thing that I want you guys to think about is the story in which Gabe was talking to Ghost that explains, without explaining, what exactly happened to Ghost's dad, which is your father was having problems with those guys in the street, and I told him not to cooperate with the police, but he did, and he got killed, blah, blah, blah. Right? Only then after that, we then have Uncle Gabe saying, "You disappeared after your father died." Here's the angle that I want you guys to think about, because we also understand that shortly after Ghost's father died, Ghost picked up a drinking problem. I'm here to suggest that drinking problem could be due to guilt of Ghost killing his own father. Like I said, I will repeat it. Ghost developing a drinking problem could not only be because he was trying to get over his father dying, but because he killed his own father and he had to deal with the grief in some kind of way. Now, what I'm suggesting to y'all is that Ghost developed this drinking problem out of not just guilt for killing his own father, but he had the guilt of not becoming the man that his father wanted him to be, right? He owned the club like his father as a tribute to his father, who he disappointed, and his father who, for whatever reason, he ended up having to kill, for whatever reason. And he dedicated his life from that point on to figuring out a way to get out of the game. It just so happened that because of his life, and we know how his life is, we understood what we were seeing from his life over the course of OG Power, which is every time he got close, every time he kind of got a foot, an inch, a finger out of the game, there always was something that brought him back. I'm saying that from the moment his father died, if he killed his own father, he made plans to leave the game at a certain point, but the game just kept pulling him back in. And that's why when we talking about Ghost still being alive and faking his death, Ghost may have come to a point where he decided the only way I'm going to be able to leave the game is by faking my death and totally cutting my ties with everyone, right? With everyone. We may find out that a key reason why Ghost remained in the game is due to Tommy. But actually, while I'm saying this, we know for a fact, based off of the ending credits, the post-credit scene of OG Power, Angela went to choke, Ghost could have went to choke, but he was worried about Tommy. We know this already, right? So ultimately, Tommy may have been the number one reason why Ghost stayed in the game, and that's why he faking his death, right? I'm going to dedicate a solo video to that as well, right? But when you go back to OG Power episode 1 and Ghost is saying, "Dad, I did it," that could be Ghost saying, "Dad, I killed you," or "I'm the reason why you died. People I know killed you. I finally opened up Club Truth." Even though he ended up having to catch a body that same day in the club, even though he never ended up leaving the game for 6 seasons, he could have had full intentions that day. "Hey, Dad, I finally did it. I'm going legit," right? Him saying, "Dad, I did it. I finally did it," is him saying, "Dad, I'm finally leaving the game." Just like you said, I had to lose you in order to get to this point, but I'm making up for it, Dad. I'm making up for it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Can't teach that shit, nigga. Come on. That's gotta get that. That's touch my ink. That's on the dome, nigga.